Hey, so today I want to show you how to build a client success tracker. And we're going to build this in a simple spreadsheet because it is something that everyone has access to. It doesn't cost you any extra money to use a spreadsheet. It's going to be very simple. But what you're going to learn in this video is the principles and the things that go into a good client success tracker. So then you can take that, and if you build it into ClickUp or Notion, or if you use any of those other tools, you can implement the same things that you're going to learn in this video with a spreadsheet into those tools. And if you want to build a real marketing company, you're going to have to learn how to run an operations company, make data-driven decisions, and innovate in software and AI and everything else. This video is going to break down how to build a client success tracker so you no longer have to wonder, are my clients happy? Are my clients profitable? How many clients do I have? What's our LTV? What's our retention rate? As a CEO, you should not be asking yourself those questions and not having the answer. If you get to the end, you like what you see, subscribe, check the description because I'll have templates for some of the other popular project management tools, primarily ClickUp and Notion. But if you join the community and you want to implement something like this into another tool, such as Monday or whatever you use, just let me know and we'll put it together for you. So without further ado, let's build a client success tracker. All right, so the first thing we're going to do is open up a spreadsheet. Let's go ahead and name it the client success tracker. And always the first thing you want to do is freeze the first row. That just keeps the first row there on the screen. When you're scrolling, you don't lose it. All right, so now we're going to start adding some of the key columns that we need. Obviously, client name. All right, so we got those added in there. Now let's just do a little bit of cleanup work. I like to make the columns a little bigger. Let's vertically center those. Let's color the headers, make it bold, make sure everything fits. All right, we're looking good so far. So looking at some of these columns, some of them are obvious, like client name. The primary contact may be different than the client's name. Client name is usually the account. So for example, if you have Google, your primary contact may be James Smith. Okay, we want to put in the date of when they started. Let's say the monthly revenue of their retainer. Now, success score, there's many ways to do this. Well, what I like to do is a simple red, yellow, and green. So what you want to have your account managers do on a weekly basis is to subjectively score this account red, yellow, or green. Red is bad, green is good. Okay, if a client expresses some level of dissatisfaction, they're going to be red. If we're getting terrible results for the client and then they're saying stuff, hey, we're at red status for this client. But for the most part, you should have very few reds if you're doing a good job on fulfillment and relationship building. So for this, what we're going to do is select this whole column. We're going to deselect the first row and we're going to do conditional. We're going to do data validation right here. This just allows us to create like a drop down. We're just going to say green, yellow, red. We'll go ahead and highlight those. Too easy. So this is going to allow you to simply choose the color. What I like to do is green is we are getting good results for the client. They are staying in touch with us. They're highly engaged. We are hitting our checkpoints with them. We're making our check-in calls or doing our report meetings or whatever it is. Everything is good. What we like to do is update this on a weekly basis because yes, they may say thanks one week, but 6 months later, they're not at green, especially if you haven't talked to them. So occasionally, even good clients with good results are going to slip into the yellow for whatever criteria you set. But for us, it is certainly related to the check-in or the engagement of the client. Okay, so we'll put in the date of last check-in, the date of the next check-in. The key goal, this is important for your clients. They may have more than one goal, but I like to outline what their big picture goal is and then what our campaign goals are. So a big picture goal may be to expand to 2 new locations, or maybe it's to grow revenue to 2 million, okay? So those are key goals of the client. It's good for your account manager to keep track of these key goals because ultimately the reason they're paying us as an agency is to help them reach their goal. Obviously, we'll have campaign goals as well. And just so you know, if you push Alt plus Enter, it creates a new line in a cell. So a campaign goal may be to raise keyword ranking for money keywords to 5+. Always keep your client's goals front and center for your account managers. Progress notes, comments are a really great way to leave progress notes. But for the sake of this, you can just do the same thing. Just use bullet points and dates. Dates are really important. So say 2, 6, 5, client achieved major success. Okay, issues, risks, always good to assess those as the account manager. So here we may say something like client got COVID and shut down the store, something like that. Okay, this will change over time, but you should always be monitoring issues and risks of any client, any project because this will dictate how you talk to them, how often you talk with them, what suggestions you make. It's good to always be aware of these things. And as a CEO, by having this type of a column inside of your client success tracker, it ensures that your account managers are at least considering the issues and risks of each client. Lastly, action items or tasks, things that need to be done. This is helpful for when you get off of a meeting, you're going to take quick notes of what to do next. In ClickUp or Notion, you would do the same thing and you would convert those into tasks and assign them to the appropriate person. But again, this is a living, breathing cell. So always keep it updated, always keep it active, and always use dates. Okay, now, so I'm going to input some example data. I'm just going to fill out the rest of this, basically copy and paste. All right, so we have our client tracker here. Now, what I like to do is add in some functionality that's going to allow us to spot issues easily and visually. We're going to highlight everything. We're going to put in some conditional formatting. We're going to say, if it is blank, we want to make it red. Okay, that's going to make it really easy to spot where we don't have goals, issues, etc. So what I would like to do also is, let's go ahead and take rows 26 and down and delete those, and columns L and over, we're going to delete those. Okay, very easy, very clear. I'm going to rename this to Client Tracker. I'm going to create a new tab for stats. Now you can put the stats anywhere you want to. You can put the stats on this main screen. You can put them along the bottom. You can add additional columns over here on the right. What I like to do is keep a separate tab for them completely. Come over here, select all of column D. Here we're going to say the average, basically the same thing. Come over here, choose the same column. This is now our average MRR per client. The next thing is, if the next check-in is past due, that's definitely something that you want to highlight. So to do that, again, we're going to do conditional formatting. We're going to put in a custom formula here. We're just going to say, let's say G is less than today. Basically, this is saying G2 is less than today and G2 is not blank. So you can see that G2 is here, but we're going for the entire column of G. So it's going to actually update for this entire column. We're going to make that red. Now we can see that if we were to put this to something in the past, you can see that it's going to make it red. So this is helpful. When you open up the spreadsheet, you're going to instantly be able to see what is missing, what dates are past, and that's something that you need to jump on quickly. Go ahead and delete the rest of these rows because that red there is ugly. Also, we're going to add in a column here. We'll say end date. So this is going to allow us to calculate our average retention per client, and it's also going to show us what our average LTV is also, considering that the MRR stays the same throughout the entire time. Let's say they started with us February 4th of 24 and they churned 1 year later. Okay, the rest of these clients are still active. This is the one that has churned, obviously, because the end date is there. We'll put a column here. So we're going to say date difference between start date and today. There we go. So the age is 60 months for this client. Okay, perfect. Now we want this to automatically fill down. So we're going to do an array formula. So it's going to do it for the whole thing. Let's just set the formatting. Okay, now we know the number of months. Now, obviously, this one has an end date, so it is 12. 12 months is how long this client was with us. Actually, we don't want to put it to today. We want to say if D2 to D is blank, or not blank, if it's blank, then we want to say today. Otherwise, we want to say, there we go. So now what this new formula does is it'll check if the end date is blank, which means they're still active. It'll come all the way up till today. Otherwise, if it is not blank, it's just going to check at this date. So we can see that our age is there. Now we can look at average retention rate. Come over here, age in months. 56 months is our average length of retention. Now we have our average MRR. We have our average retention rate. So we know our average lifetime value is going to be this average MRR times the average retention rate, $193,000 per client. That's our average lifetime value. And this is all going to be calculated from this tracker live as it's updated. So let's go ahead and color these. Now we may also want to know total clients, but we don't want to include the header row. So we're just going to say 2 to A, 12 total clients. And right here, we automatically have a sustainable client tracker. I'm just going to expand this a little, make it a little easier to read, bring these out just a tad, and we're going to turn on wrap. We're going to say wrap text. So now we can see more of it. We can also always expand as we need to, but you can see what this looks like. Now, what you want to do is get your account manager to check this daily update it weekly. You can change this frequency as you want to, but the idea is that we always keep these numbers top of mind, especially for your account managers. They need to know when you ask your account manager, how is XYZ client doing? They should be able to tell you right off the top of their head because they look at the client tracker daily. You can continue to add stats in here, whatever is most important. For me, what I really like to focus on is our LTV, our total clients, our retention rate, and average MRR doesn't really make that big of a difference. The biggest thing is because you know what your MRR is going to be roughly, but we want our average retention rate to always be above 12. We want our LTV to always be more than we're paying to acquire the customer. And of course, we want our clients' numbers to continue to go up. Now, some other ideas of different columns you can add in here are different services. Here, if you wanted to say the different services you offer, you can say SEO, Facebook ads, website development, site maintenance, B2B outreach, whatever your services are, you can go and add those. You can color them if you want, and then you can choose which services they have. If you want to allow multiple services, you can do the same here by checking this box, click done. Now, if we want to say Facebook ads and SEO, we can do so, expand this out. And you can get even more fancy because over here, you could break it down by the average revenue per SEO client, Facebook ads client, etc. Once you have the data and you have the process in place for tracking the data, you can do whatever you want with the data after that. You can create really amazing charts and graphs and everything that you want. So if you made it this far, congratulations, you have a client success tracker. It's simple yet powerful. You can use it to stay proactive, keep your clients happy, grow your agency. Check the links for templates. And of course, as always, let me know if this works for you. Let me know what questions you have and subscribe if you like content like this.